really focus on that. And I will say this, it's brought me a lot of peace. You know, I think it's brought me so much peace that it's like I'm okay at times just being alone a lot of times, you know.
And chat, we got y'all, chat. I see y'all sending in the super chats. We're going to get to the super chats. And we got the big bowlers in here today. So we're going to get to those in a second. Before we get to the discussion of maturity, did anyone want to speak about something else or no? Mm-hmm. Anyone?
Do you think the world would be a better place if men weren't here? So when I say
that this
question
girl, I have written down.
Girl, she said, you know what I realized? She said that outside is only dangerous because of men. So she was saying that, which is true, statistically, violence, men.
But that isn't true.
Statistically, so out of 10 serial killers, there'll be one woman.
No, well, let's peel the layer back. You always got to get to the... Let's get to the...
All wars. What were wars started by?
Let's get to the root.
Serial killers are caused by women.
Let's get to the root cause of things. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and you don't go to the cause. So let's not manipulate me. I don't want you to manipulate yourself. I want to get to the root of it.
Okay.
So the root of it is that without a man and you were just here, you would have been eaten by a lion, a tiger, and bear. And guess what? If the lions and tigers and bears didn't get you, you wouldn't have the ability to gather enough calories for you to last. Because a woman can't manipulate the world how a man can. That's a fact. So without a man... What I'm saying is, without a man, it was done on survival. They had women on one island, a man, and a bunch of men on another island. And they had them there for X amount of days. Mm-hmm. The man, in just a short amount of time, a few days, they built a hierarchy to things. The woman worked as a committee. They tried to do everything equal. So let me explain to you how a world would operate with only women and how a world would operate with only men. So a world with only men in a survival series. Let me finish.
Visitation,
I got you. I'm going to break it all down to you. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. So you need to learn this. So a world with only men. Well, guess what? Me and Andy, we respect the hierarchy. Andy is a pastor. I'm not going to ever go to his church and think that I have more knowledge than what he has in the Bible. He is a biblical scholar. I'm going to respect him when I go to his church. When Andy comes here, he knows that I have a podcast, dating and relationships. I'm doing my thing. He's going to respect that. We're not going to be in competition. We're not going to bump heads. When men get together, we know, oh, he's stronger here. He has this skill here. He got this. Let the best person work this skill, and that creates a hierarchy from top down. When a woman get together, what you think about, you're all emotional. So you're tiptoeing all the time, and you're looking at the sensitivity levels in this woman and that woman because you know that you are sensitive. So what you do is you create a committee, and what you do is you start looking at everything in an egalitarian sense to equalize everything. You get two, you get two, you get two, you get two. The men don't operate like that. Did you do enough to get two? If you ain't do enough, you're not getting to. You get zero. Put in that work and then you get that. This is why on the survival series, men, they was cleaning water fast, building fires fast because they created that hierarchy. They put the best person in position first. The women, they was trying to do everything equal and by committee. So they couldn't create any order and any structure. So they just, like some women was like quitting immediately and they didn't survive at all. Of course, the TV show didn't let them die, but theirs ended shortly and the men, they're finished the whole time. So what I'm saying is, your question is, you said that, well, what would the world be? Yeah, the world wouldn't be safer without men. You would have been eaten by nature. You wouldn't survive nature. Men, and you got to think about it, nature killed more people than any wars and anything you could never imagine. So think about that. And men, we build infrastructure to protect the woman from nature. We build houses and stuff like that. So protect the woman. We give you this comfortability for you. But there are just certain bad apples out there because that's how the world works.
You wouldn't figure it out if you guys
No,
weren't
you
here?
wouldn't have. There's just certain bad apples out there in the world that men do bad things. And men like us, we hold those men accountable. We tell those men, stop being emotional and work on your masculinity. Get in the gym and do better. Stop smoking and drinking and worried about all these vices. Do better. Have some self-discipline. Yeah. But what else?
Amen.
And we'll create the laws too because we care. Because we have daughters and wives and mothers and sisters and we want you to be able to walk the streets. So, when Rome made the Roman roads, it's like they wanted you to be able to walk the road safely. And, but I mean, I understand
I was just based on. I mean, her question was made sense. She said outside wouldn't be so dangerous if
that's because she looked at the effects of things, and manipulation happens. That's what I'm trying to tell you, ladies. Anytime, because this is something that I learned when I was like 26, and it helped me out, and it helped. Because everything is influence based. Influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So you got to be very careful of what you are allowing to influence you. And it's very easy to understand once you understand that manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and not the cause. Because when you said it, I knew automatically manipulation, because that's not the root of it, right? So let's peel back the layer and get to the root. Good question though. Did that girl create a TikTok?
Yeah, she's pretty violent. Her name, she's oh my gosh, she's a funny girl. She's from New York.
Send me that after. I want to do a reaction to her video. We're going to give her a little bit clout for that. We're going to do a reaction to that one. Someone had their hands up. Oh, yeah, you did. What you got?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, since we were like going back and forth, so I wanted to know, what are ways in a relationship that a couple can build trust and respect for each other?
Pastor?
I mean, I think that you got to start from the beginning. I understand your view of vulnerability, because it's absolutely possible for men and women. And it's one of the saddest things I've seen, where people they're no longer their best self. Like, you were a better you for a worse dude. And now you're making this new dude pay the back tax for the last dude that was crap.
That's why I said
you were actually more vulnerable, or you actually served more, or you made sandwiches for that dude. But then after that dude cheated on you,
put up walls.
Now I'm not making sandwiches no more. Now you meet a dude that's actually worth a sandwich, but you won't make it. So I think that you do have to trust again. You have to forgive. That's what you were talking about. You gotta let them go, because they ain't even thinking about you. You're just holding on, and you're only hurting yourself.
And it's been more peace for myself too.
More peace for you, no doubt. And I think you do have to be able to share, and you have to be open and honest. And I think that you have to find someone that you see the world in a similar way. So like when you were talking about the polygamy guy, it's like, well, if you know from the beginning that's not going to work for you, then you got to be honest up front at the beginning, because if you can agree about those things, then it'll help. But it's harder when, you don't trust and you don't believe. And now, you're starting to get shook about yourself, and you settled. So I think that it's important to share. It's important to talk. A lot of the things that we talked about right here, it's important to be upfront and to be honest about where you are. But I also think that one of the things that's important too is...
But what are some of the ways that they could do it? That's what I mean.
Like, you need to be careful not to write too much in ink. Like, write in pencil. Like dudes like to feel like, hey, like this is where you are right now. Like, make your plans. But let's be honest, if you meet the right dude and he's got the right stuff going on,
gotta erase that.
You'll be able to erase that.
Don't set it in stone.
If it's too set in stone, then
it's not gonna...
the kind of guy you want. Because if you want a guy that's got his own money, his own power, his own life, his own drive, his own purpose, then he's going to want you to come along with him on that journey. And so, if you want to maintain your flexibility, because that's what you all want. We said it earlier, like women think they want to be in charge till they're really in charge. And when you really become in charge, you're like, you're a little boy, and you're not really interested in a little boy. You're interested in a grown man. And so, but for that guy to come, he has to feel like, I get it. Like, you're coming out of this bad situation, but you've healed, so you're good. So if I'm asking you to come along with me, you're not like, yeah, but I did that the last time. So I think that that's a big thing, for women to be healed within yourself. What you're saying is really good. You got to be healed within yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
Because no one can heal you but you and God, and that's important.
And that's a good analogy he made: the pencil and the eraser. You want to write things in, pretty much you said ink and then pencil. You want to write things in pencil sometimes for a woman, because if you write things in ink, you become more hardened. And a man doesn't want a hardened woman. He doesn't want a masculine woman. He wants a woman that's going to let down her guard and be vulnerable, because we accept a woman being vulnerable, and not only that's what we want the woman to be. You feel what I'm saying? So man, and writing things in pencil, like he said, then you wrote it down, that was up for that man. But that pencil got eraser on it. You meet that new dude, you had them walls up, oh, okay, you're gonna erase this for the new dude. You're gonna put them walls down. So, and it's funny is because Usually when a woman goes through something and experience adversities and some trauma and some heartache from a man or from anything, in some way, shape, or form, it hardens her and it makes her more masculine to some degree. To some degree it does. And I talked about it before on the podcast. You may not agree with it, but when you look at it from a man's point of view, we want the softest, feminine, sweetest, kind-hearted. We walk through the door, she's bubbly, she's giggly. That's what makes us feel great. We want to be the superhero in this story. So when a woman experiences things, and even if she overcame those things, now meaning that she's healed, but when she gets with the new guy, she got them walls up. So exactly like he said, you really need to write it down. That was good. Can I steal that one? Yeah, I'm gonna steal that one. Write it down in pencil instead of ink, because then you can erase that. You don't have to have those walls up and be so masculine and be a man. We want a woman.
And that's the thing for me. Every relationship that I've been in, I always seem to go into it with a clean slate.
That's good.
And I've made sure that I'm aware of that, because I don't like to bring that emotional baggage into my next relationship. And I've been through some bad relationships. I've been physically, emotionally, mentally abused, and yet I still go into the next relationship the same way, clean slate. You know what? I'm not gonna punish him for what he did.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll speak about it briefly about a biological way that a woman really can't fully she can overcome the traumas and adversities, but the man, he just views it differently. Yeah. Because when a man experiences adversities and trauma, well, normally all human beings, we have to adjust. So how do we adjust? We're usually a little bit more non-agreeable. Well, usually when something happened to you, you were agreeable too much. Usually then you take on another characteristic trait of being more assertive. Well, okay, that didn't happen right for me. Let me assert myself more. Then maybe a little bit more dominant, because you don't want to be dominated like you was before and taken advantage of like you was before. So all human beings take on these characteristic traits when they go through things, adversities and trauma. It just so happens to be that when a man takes on these characteristic traits, when he's overcoming things, he's a more masculine man. He went through something. And the woman views it. I'm just saying that the woman views it as more masculine. He's more dominant, more assertive, more non-agreeable. He can lead the right way. You trust this man. Mm-hmm. You'll trust him with your life. But guess what? The woman takes on those same characteristic traits too. The man just doesn't view it the same. We view it as, God dang, you more masculine. You trying to be like me. Calm down a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So the thing is that what you can't escape, and no woman can escape it. When you go through things, and you do overcome it, it's inevitable that you will take on some more masculine traits. But Pastor Andy did give some gems. He said, if you write in pencil and not in pen, that'll help you out. Yeah. So yeah. Anybody else?
What if what advice would you have if you erase too much?
What you mean? No boundaries?
If you go in, if you've been through something and then you go into the next relationship and you go in with the clean slate.
Well, you want to have discernment. You want to have discernment. Discernment is the ability to make good judgment. Mm-hmm. So you want to, and you gather that. The way to have discernment, to make a discerned decision and choices and things, is you have to be more disciplined. Think about it. If I'm not disciplined, if I'm smoking, masturbating, drinking, I'm always going out to the club, well, I really can't trust I can't trust my own actions. So therefore I can't trust my own choices that I'm really making, because I'm making bad choices. So then I'll choose a more masculine woman. I'll choose the girl that's on the stripper pole. I'll choose the girl that's doing OnlyFans. I'll choose those type of women because I lack the discipline within myself. And we always tend to project. So I'm saying this. How you overcome that part is you have to be more disciplined yourself. If you are more disciplined, guess what? If you're a pure woman and you know that you weren't doing these things, normally we all project. You want what's in yourself almost. You want the morality that you hold in yourself. And you want this man to embody those same moral characteristic traits. So if you're immoral, obviously you're going to attract and accept another immoral person.
What if it's almost like you're fooled? like they put on a mask for so long. And
discernment.
I was gonna say that's discernment.
Yeah, that's discernment. So that's just, once again, if you're disciplined, right? The more disciplined you are, and then also if you look at your own experiences, meaning that memories is only for one thing. Memories, when we have a memory, is for one thing, is to extract lessons learned. It's not to dwell on negative emotions and whatever else is going on. Extract lessons learned. So when you experience life, you extract the lesson learned, and then that creates discernment there. That's opening up the discernment box for you. Then you put in you being disciplined. Well, god dang, you'll know when this dude is lying, talking about he's single when he's really married. The way he conveys himself and stuff like that. You'll pick up on the red flags, the way he's incongruent in things. You'll pick up on all these things because you embody good characteristic traits yourself.
That's deep. No, that was deep.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.